I've just been told I'm coming down.
He has, I'm going to be your Yosemite. When you come down, I've got a big.
But I'm not saying hardly anything.
You're just a figurehead to stand and support.
That's it.
Yeah.
Is that okay right there?
Just told you you were just a figurehead.
Okay, we will begin in about 1 minute. Thank you, everyone. Nobody? Okay. All right, welcome everyone. Glad to have you here for our regular February meeting. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, we'll start off with the approval of minutes from December 19th, January 9th, and January the 11th.
Motion to approve, Mayor.
I'll second that.
A motion second, all in favor, raise their hand. Thank you very much. Our council member Jennifer Hubbard, she is at the School of Government tonight. She's doing a class, and she's also representing us doing a session they're having up there. So we're really proud of her being part of that. That's really good. Do we have any scouts here tonight? Do we have any youth council here tonight? Well, stand up, give me your name and what school you're at. And what year are you? Okay, very good. Thank you for being here today. Anyone else I'm missing? And Chairman Morse was coming tonight, but he had another event. He wanted to make sure that we knew that he wanted to be here, but he had to go to the other event. Okay, we're going to, first of all, I'm going to let council, remind council that next Friday, February 16th, 7:30 a.m., we start our planning session. So plan to be here on that time, and we'll get going with it. And start with a 7:30 a.m. breakfast, and then we'll move right into it for an all-day fun event. All right, under presentations, we're going to recognition of the cities receiving a designation as Tree City USA for the 5th consecutive year. So, Bill Leak, if you'll come up, I'll meet you down here. All right, Bill, tell us about what's going on.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Kuczynski, Mr. Payne, members of council. So, 5 years. City of Concord has been a Tree City USA. We have met the 4 parameters that qualify for that, and what we thought we'd just recognize this tonight by asking you to apply the 5th-year sticker on one of these signs. These signs are located in different areas across the city, and for people, residents, and come to visit and all can see these and realize that. So we're just really glad that, city has made the commitment to the importance and the value of trees in our community.
How's that?
That is great, and we appreciate that. And we also have a cap for you.
Well, let me go ahead and put the cap on. Honor here.
And again, we
Let's see the cap, Bill. Nice. It's fitting.
and we thank you for all the support and our endeavors. And
Tell us a little bit about how this moves on.
okay, so the 4 parameters are, main thing is, we have to spend $2 per capita on our urban forestry program. We have to have a board or a department that manages our urban forest. We have to have an Arbor Day commemoration where we celebrate Arbor Day across the city. And the last one is, and I can't remember it, I'm drawing a blank. Okay, and our 4th one is our tree care ordinance, our public tree care ordinance, and we have that in place. So we've been able to do that. A little bit of a challenge when we got the new census in and our population jumped dramatically, but we were able to meet that the last 2 years with that, so that's been good. So that's what we have. So going forward, we really hope that, we can, as our city grows and we develop, we can incorporate, good canopy preservation, good replacement of our urban forests, and get all those benefits that trees provide for our citizens.
Bill, thank you so much for what you've been doing with this. I think LJ wants to get a picture of us together here. I'll leave the hat on for a moment. Okay, and one without. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Good job. I'll wear it and with pride, yes. All right, we'll move on to our, next is the presentation and proclamation recognizing the month of February as Black History Month. I'm going to go ahead and read this for the record if we, from the office of the mayor. Whereas National Black History Month is an occasion to commemorate the countless contributions of the African Americans to enrich the American life. And whereas this year's theme, African Americans and the Arts, established by the Association of Study of African American Life and History, highlights how artists have used art to preserve history and our community's legacy for empowerment, setting trends used around the world and putting spotlight on the richness of Black culture. Whereas American history brims with the stories of African Americans who forever changed their communities and our country. Whereas a National Black History Month is a call to every citizen to reflect on the contributions of African Americans which are woven throughout our American history. Therefore, I, William C. Dush, Mayor and the City Council of the City of Concord, do hereby offer this proclamation in honor of the month of February being recognized as National Black History Month. Thank you very much. And this will go into our records. All right. We are moving into new business, and we have on Tuesday received results of the Cabarrus County Arts and Prosperity Survey, and we also received a presentation regarding the local government language access collaborative program. Anything to add to that? Okay. Departmental reports. We're going to move to first to Parks and Recreation Bond update.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Calling Sheila to come forward and provide an update on the bond project.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Polchinski, Ms. Deason. Tonight we will report for February on all our bond projects. The financial information is the same. We have no update for the financial information. First is Jordan Park. On the left side, you can see the bank erosion on the north end of the park. On the Cottle Creek side, we've had additional bank erosion. We are currently working, this is a part of the bond project. We are currently working with engineering and with McAdams on a scope of service to do the stream restoration for this section of the Cottle Creek as a part of the park. It is a part of the bond project. On the top right, the stream restoration for Afton Run continues, and on the bottom right, you can see where they are doing trail construction throughout the park. Next is Marvin Caldwell Park. We have resubmitted the application for the splash pad permit. We have also received the equipment at the DOC. That's the picture to the left and the top picture to the right. We have also made our playground selection. That selection, the company is called Compan, and we are now planning for our stakeholders meeting to review that as a part of our grant project, which is an inclusive playground. Once we complete the identified for the playground and we get the permit for the splash pad, we will begin putting together construction documents to bid this project. Next is J.E. Jim Ramsworth Park. We are continuing the permitting for this to move to the construction document phase and to begin the bidding process. The sign, the picture on the left is the sign that we have at the road and also the sign that we have at the fields. And we also have a sign similar to this at Caldwell Park announcing construction in 2024. Next is Hartselle Park. We are currently still in design for this park. However, due to a fire at the restroom building at Hartselle Park, we have requested an acceleration of the building that is at Hartselle Park as a part of the fire and getting that back up and open to the citizens. We also conducted a public update meeting as a part of Silver Hills neighborhood on January 24th. We received positive feedback in reference to the bond and the project. We will do another update meeting. This will be held in the summer for this project. We hope to have more design information. Once we finish the design of the restroom building due to the fire, we'll bring that back to council for approval. Next is the Academy Gibson project. This is the skate park, pump track, and sculpture garden. We are continuing with design. We've already had one public update meeting. The next public update meeting will be scheduled for the spring of '24. Academy Gibson, the athletic fields. We continue design development for this project. Public update meeting will be planned for summer of '24. The Academy Gibson pool. This is the McGinnis Aquatic Center located behind the Academy Recreation Center. We have received our final permit from CHA for the pool. The pool is in Excella for final R4 review and approval. Once approved, we will then come back to council for you to approve the design of the project. We will move to construction documents and bid the project. Our goal is to bring you design for approval in April, May, and then bid the project in June, July. That way we are ready for construction in August when the pool closes. Next is Dave Phillips Park. We continue with schematic design for this park. Once we finish with that, we will move into design development. Next is the Poplar Tent Park. Again, this park is being designed internally, and we continue this park as far as the coordination. We continue with the coordination with Duke Power and NCDOT as a part of the design for this park. And just a reminder, this park is a critical cross connect for two greenway systems. It will connect Hector Henry near the Cannon Crossing phase to the Clark Creek Greenway that will connect across the Carolina International Schools at Allen Mills. And the additional projects are Wilson Street. This will be designed internally, and then sometime in FY 26, 27, we'll identify a consultant for the Academy Recreation Center, and we've already identified McAdams for WW Flow, but we will not begin that design to 26 or 27. And I will be glad to answer any questions.
All right, any question from council?
Well, I have one. Is
Let's go ahead.
information only, Sheila. I got a call yesterday. Go back to Hartsel, the pickleball courts that you're showing that bottom right. I got a call yesterday to ask if they're ready to play on yet. Are they ready? Are they?
No, sir.
Because they look like they are, he said. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't been down there to look at them.
No, this is at Hartsel. We
Right.
are doing, we just had the tennis court.
I'm talking about Myers. I'm sorry.
Yeah. we
Myers.
just
I'm sorry.
redid
Myers,
the
not Hartsel. I
tennis courts
apologize.
at Myers.
Myers.
We're planning for those to open to the public tomorrow.
Oh, okay. There we go.
And then below that,
That's easy.
below that is where the 4 pickleball courts will be.
Right.
And right now, we're in construction for that.
I apologize. I got the wrong part, but
No, you're fine.
And when do you think that'll be done?
Which
The pickleball?
They're still on target and the goal is met.
Okay.
I have
Much you need, sir?
a
Great. Yes, go ahead.
just for clarity, so the pool will be open this summer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We have all the permits, but we're gonna bid it, but the goal is not to close it until it closes for the season. That way the citizens miss no pool time.
Any more questions? Thank you for keeping us updated.
You're very welcome.
Number 2, downtown streetscape update.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think Paige and Kaylee are going to tag team this item for council this evening, so.
Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, Ms. Deason. I'm going to get started this month a little different. Let's see. Does it work? Sorry. Going the wrong way here.
Yes, that is.
I'm sorry. I'm trying. Can I use the mouse? Okay. All right, sorry. So you guys might have seen this on social media, but we wanted to show kind of the transition from what the street looked like in the 1930s and the construction to today. And we just kind of thought it was a fun contrast, especially if you look at what the men are wearing under and the size of the equipment, as well as just so many changes that have happened to the buildings over the years. So it's about 90 years of difference. A lot more safety considerations are in place today. But going back to where we usually start with the construction updates, so they have finished the 16-inch water main installation from the mid-block to Cabarrus Avenue in this new work zone. And as of today or early tomorrow, they will have tied in that new 16-inch main to the line that they had brought up to the mid-block, so continuing that to Cabarrus. Current work, starting tomorrow, they're going to be doing water services from the mid-block to Cabarrus. They will work on the Novi Loft side first, and then they'll kind of come back and work on, I guess, the Chocolatier, the other side, after they finish those services. They've also almost completed the sidewalk installation on bar brick, and they're working on installing soil cells and sidewalks and brick pavers. So some of the photos you're seeing, that water line and the sidewalk on bar brick, as well as the January 18th photo is reusing the granite curbing that was on Union Street in a kind of creative stormwater management system on bar brick. So the water flows from that flume that goes under the sidewalk onto the road, and it looks really neat out there. There's going to be another one of these installed on Cabarrus Avenue at that intersection as well. And then next up, they're looking at continuing the fiber and electric conduit installation, as well as that infrastructure work kind of north of the mid-block and the sidewalk work south of the mid-block. We don't have drone photos. Our drone is kind of out of commission for a little bit, so we are just showing some more of the construction photos with the herringbone pattern brick pavers and then some of the brick banding that you see there on bar brick. You can obviously see that we had some rain as well in the past month. And then one drone image, but this is about a month old, just wanted to show a big overview of downtown. And if you think 4 or 5 years back and how different it looks today, we have the new apartments, we have the new courthouse addition, and some things on the periphery even with some of the townhomes near the Greenway and townhomes on Cabarrus West. And then you can kind of see a little bit of the brewery and the mill that's out there at the top with the new project coming on Cabarrus East. I just wanted to look at that. And then showing our current work zone, the latest we have from the contractor is that they are feeling confident about getting the infrastructure in place through the end of March. They are working with NCDOT to set up a pre-construction meeting so that they can kind of get a better handle on that work in the intersection with Cabarrus Avenue. And then of course the sidewalk improvements follow behind the infrastructure. Continue to update every week, adding lots more photos than you'll see kind of on the social media post, and just a current sort of update of what's been completed week to week. Continue to do that. And also continue to update the parking availability map. There's no change from last month, but we do make sure to update the date so that people visiting the website can see, it was updated as of February 1st and that it is current. And we are monitoring the parking decks and looking at that 60% usage is still continuing to be found within those. And then I will pass it to Paige.
So things have still been bustling in downtown. There's a highlight of things that took place just last weekend. Throughout downtown, Little Roberts Place had their 14th anniversary party. Several merchants put together a B-Suite Shop small event, and if you followed the instructions and went to a certain number of places and purchased items from those places, then you were entered to win a gift bag or a gift basket with some really great prizes in it. So it's, the merchants are really, coming together and working to keep downtown really lively. There was a Galentine's Sip and Shop, and Table 11 has their adult cooking classes back. So keep an eye out for all of those things. We do add these events, the merchants add these events to our website and our calendar, and we share them on social media. And Sheree put together a nice little interactive video, if I can play it. 1, 2, 3, let's go. So just a highlight of how busy things were over the weekend. So that was coming off of the weekend, was shared on social media. Two Gals was full line out the door. Frank, not just Frank's, was busy line out the door. It was bustling. People were having a great time, so we're always happy to see that. Ooh, I'm gonna do it again. New businesses downtown. I do apologize. There's one mistake on this slide. I was still stuck in January. The Palmetto Market will be opening February 24th. So that's going to be a retail shop on 11 Cabarrus Avenue West. So that's she specializes in a lot of gift items, and many of those items can be personalized in her store. So if you're looking for a good gift, she'll be opening, like I said, February 24th. And then also exciting news, the Local Bottle Shop is a new establishment coming to 9 Union Street. So this is new ownership, new concept. They're gonna have beer and wine on tap. It's dog friendly. We poked our head in today. They're painting and doing a lot of good work in that building. So TBD on their opening date, but we're excited to welcome them to downtown. And additionally, I know many of us saw the great article in the Independent Tribune, and other folks have shared the exciting news of Charo's Mexican restaurant, second location, and Sawmill Tavern, both at the PM Morris building. So we're really excited to officially be able to share the Concord's worst kept secrets out in the world. So we're keeping on track with what's with their progress. I don't know that, you know, they still have a lot of way to go, or a lot of work to do. So TBD on a date there, and we'll share that when available. Any questions?
Any question from council? Lots of things happening.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bill, I just want to thank the staff for updating us every month. And we've been doing this how long? A year and a half? So every month you come to us and talk to us about parking and businesses, and you're coordinating this with the downtown merchants. So we'll do it for another 6 or 7 months and then be done with it. But thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, moving on, public hearing. We have one public hearing tonight. Conduct a public hearing, consider adopting a 2024 revision of the City of Concord Comprehensive Transportation Plan. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved, Mayor.
A motion second, all in favor, raise your hand. All right, I have no one signed up for or against this. Anyone like to speak in regards to this item? There's no one to speak, so therefore motion from council to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion second, let's go ahead and vote. All in favor, raise your hand. All right, thank you very much. Back to council for a recommendation.
Mayor, I move that we adopt the 2024 revision to our comprehensive transportation plan.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Got a motion second. Okay, ready to vote. All in favor, raise your hand. All right, very good. Recognition of persons requesting to be heard. Let me go ahead and read this. This portion of the meeting is our time to recognize persons requesting to be heard and provides an opportunity for anyone wishing to address the city council to do so. Each person receives 3 minutes to address the council. This is a time for listening for the council. The subject will be noted, and if required action or request, the city manager will note as such and provide steps of any required response or after action. Please leave your contact information with the city clerk to facilitate communication. Okay, this is probably the first time ever. I don't have anyone to speak. Is there anyone here who would like to speak? Okay, we will not have anyone speaking today. This is the first. We will move to petitions and requests. Number 1, consider entering an agreement with the North Carolina Department of Transportation to covering work performed under project agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Philip went over this item with council on Tuesday evening at the work session. This is for construction sidewalks along the streets listed in the agenda item, so we'd ask that you allow us to move forward, entering into contract with North Carolina Department of Transportation to do this work.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion and second. Ready to vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. Number 2, consider authorizing city manager to execute agreement number 2 on the North Apron Access Road to the airport.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Dirk went over this item with council on Tuesday as well. This is amendment number 2, which would include the utilities as part of the scope work. We previously did not know how much the cost was going to be, so now that we know it's a little bit under, we want to move forward this amendment in the amount of $89,876.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second, ready to vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. Number 3, consider awarding 2 bids in the amount of $288,029 to Siemens and ABB for circuit breakers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Caleb went over these items with council on Tuesday night as well. This is for 2 separate bids. Total amount, as you listed, $288,029.56 for circuit breakers. So we'd ask that you allow us to move forward with the contract.
All right, thank you very much. Back to council for a recommendation.
Mayor, I move that we approve the 2 bids as specified. And I will say, full transparency, I've never purchased a 48.3 kV breaker, so this is a first for me.
Yeah, is that big? That's big? Okay. Well, so you're making the motion? Does somebody want to make a second for that one? I'll second that. Lori has a second on that one. All right. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. That's a big vote. Okay. Number 4, consider adopting a bond order authorizing the issuance of utility systems revenue bonds.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Jessica went over this item on Tuesday evening. This is an item we've been talking about for quite some time. This is the issuance, or asking council to allow us to move forward the issuance of up to $25 million in revenue bonds for work out at Hillgrove Water Treatment Plant.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion from council?
Mayor, I'll make the motion to adopt the bond authorization.
We have a motion and we have a second, therefore ready to vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. Number 5, consider adopting an updated reimbursement resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Jessica did go over this item on Tuesday as well with council. This is to update the resolution on the cost description and timing of the projects. As denoted in the agenda item, we'd ask that you allow us to move forward with this.
All right, is there a recommendation from council? Motion and a second. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. All right, number 6, consider adopting ordinance adding Article X, social districts.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Steve went over this item and took questions from council on Tuesday evening. This is to add a new section to the Code of Ordinances allowing the creation of a social district with the effective date of August 1, 2024, with the substantial completion of the streetscape project in downtown. The map that Steve showed on Tuesday night, there's one change to that map, the only change being exempting out the county parking deck. And so with that change, we'd ask that you allow us to move forward with this so that we can put this in place.
Thank you very much. Is there a recommendation?
Mayor, I move we adopt the ordinance to add the social district in downtown Concord.
Second that.
A motion and a second, ready to vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. Number 7, consider approving the Concord co-sponsorship application for annual recurring events.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As Ian described on Tuesday evening, this is 3 events that happen each year that the City Council has always co-sponsored these events. And so instead of bringing these back each year to you, getting your approval to move forward unless there are substantial changes without it coming back to you.
Okay, thank you. Is there a recommendation from council?
Mayor, I motion to approve the recommendation as presented.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second that.
We got a motion and a second, ready to vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. Yep, got it. Number 8, consider approving benefit plan rates for the City of Concord for fiscal year 25.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Chantel described through our consultant on Tuesday evening the benefits to put forth for FY25 for City of Concord employees. Very few changes, no additional cost to employees coming up for medical coverage in the coming year. That would be 5 years in a row we've been able to do that. So with those recommendations, we'd ask that you allow us to move forward so we can complete open enrollment this spring.
All right, thank you very much. Is there a motion? A motion and a second. Do you have a question?
I do, yes, sir. Not really a question, but, you know, kudos to the team, the entire leadership team for doing this, because I know on the civilian side that I work in, this is huge. Some employees will always want a pay raise and always look at that short term, But the medical benefits are important to a lot more than just the money. It's important to keep good employees here. And Lloyd, you and your team's done a phenomenal job to keep that 5 years in a row where it's at, and also offer options like we've done. So kudos to the leadership team. It's a good thing. That's a good thing for Concord.
Okay.
And Mayor, to echo that, to have no increase in medical costs to the city. Did you say 5 years, Lloyd?
That would be as far as additional premiums from city employees. That is correct. We've been able to hold that for 5 years now.
That's huge.
Yep.
That's huge. So thank you.
So, John, were you making the second on that? So, very good. So with a motion and second, everybody, any more comments? You ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much, unanimous. All right, number 9, consider authorizing city manager to negotiate and execute a contract with Double D Construction Services.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is an exciting project that council and staff have been talking about for some time. This is a request for council to allow us to move forward with Double D Construction, the amount of $132,609.13 for the asbestos removal and demolition of the city-owned buildings at 228 and 234 to 240 McGill Avenue.
All right, is there a motion? We have a motion, is there, and a second. All right, ready to vote, all in favor, raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Well, I don't know, this thing's making noise up here. Number 10, consider a preliminary application for Bonds Real Estate.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Jackie went over this item with council on Tuesday evening. This is a request for water service outside the city limits. The property is located at 2701 DeRuyter Road. Sewer is already available and being served at the property, so staff's recommendation is to allow the applicant to move forward with including annexation as part of the request.
Is there a motion? I'll second that. Got a motion and second. Any discussion? Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion approved.
Got a motion and second. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, thank you. We're moving on to matters not on the agenda. We'll start with the discussion of the Transportation Advisory Committee.
Mayor, I attended the TAC meeting last week as I'm the fill-in person, as I call JC, the #1 guy, so he wasn't available to go, so I went. But a couple things that came up. We elected our new vice chairman for, the guy's name is Harris, out of Harrisburg. I never caught his first name. He got elected because he wasn't there, so he got in that way. Two, there are a couple things, though, that came out. We learned also that there's going to be a construction delay till fiscal year 27 for Bruton Smith Boulevard sidewalk project. That was 25, I think, to start. Also, the George Lyles Extension Parkway is also delayed till, well, that's not, sorry, I'm trying to read these notes here. The 16th project, blah, blah. The construction for Poplar Tent widening has been moved to 29. I think that was started at 27, so everything's been moved about 2 years. And the one that's really impacting us the most is the extension of Union Cemetery Road alignment. That's going to be moved up to FY26 for construction to start. And that's not guaranteeing that it'll continue then even, so, but that's where we are. That's basically it.
Right, thank you. And I did get a question about 73 going to Davidson, and that's going to be 29 now?
29.
But that's only for the Mecklenburg side, right?
I think
That's on the
it's been
Mecklenburg
split
side.
up into 2 or 3 different projects
Yeah,
now, and I think
it is 3
the
projects.
74 portion from the Cabarrus line back into Huntersville was going to be the portion that's done first.
It is, yeah. It's 3 projects now, so.
And to make sure anyone in the audience knows, thank you for attending for me. And Terry goes with me every month, so we do this together. That Poplar Tent is the stretch from Gable Oaks to George Lyles. It's not the stretch out towards Harris and 73. And if you remember the month before when I gave mine, I talked about the largest number of transportation improvement changes ever. And then this one was even bigger. So the first 2 TAC meetings, it's just an unbelievable amount of delays across the board.
Yep, you got it. Moving on to the Metropolitan Transit Committee. LJ, you want to give us an update?
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Golchinsky, Ms. Deason. So the January MTC meeting, in a lot of ways, was more of similar in terms of a lot of internal discussion for CATS. There was not really a lot of regional discussion to speak of. There were, however, some discussion points related to operations and staffing that CATS has been experiencing over the last 2 years roughly, that are sort of relevant to what we've been running through in parallel. So just a quick recap of those pieces. A year ago, roughly, CATS was averaging 10% loss of service every day, which at their scale was significant. It's a significant number at any scale, but that was a lot of hours. 12 months later in January, that had been reduced down to 2%. So their goal, like ours, is to be at 0. You want to have all the buses run when they're supposed to. They're not there yet, but that's certainly a significant improvement. In 2023, their vacancy rates, depending on the department within CATS, the division, was between 20 to 40+%. That's now been reduced in aggregate to 19%, compared to the city of Charlotte is running 12 to 14% in other departments. So they've made great strides, but they are certainly not quite where they want to be yet. In particular, they're still short about 70 bus operators, but gaining on that. The discussion happened between the MTC members of sort of what's led to that 12-month improvement. And Brent Cagle, who's the acting CEO, said there have been a lot of efforts with outreach and marketing and community events, but in the end, it was adjustments to compensation. For most of the departments and most of the positions, that ranged from 12 to 16%, with some of those positions being 20+% to get them to a competitive market rate similar to what we went through. So that was the most interesting thing. I guess I'll stay them in 2 more steps, sort of how that ties into us, but that was sort of what they've been dealing with and where they've evolved to in the last year.
Okay. Thank you very much. Central Iowa Regional Council. No report. CK Transit Commission. LJ?
So we did not have a Transit Commission meeting in January. We do have one scheduled for the end of the month on Leap Day. I think we haven't had one there before, so once in a lifetime maybe. So to tie in the MTC point discussions, as most of you know, in November, we started to experience service losses that we had never encountered previously due to primarily bus operator staffing shortages. So for us, in November, that number was 2.12%. It was 69.5 hours of service that we lost across the month. In December, it was almost the same total, 67.5, which worked out to 2.01%. It's a small percent, but any lost trip is a severely negative impact potentially on the community, particularly if somebody's trying to get to work and we don't show up at 5:30 and they're late, they may lose their job. So we don't want to have any missed trips. January was significantly improved. That dropped to 11. 5 of those were in one day. So that brought us down to 0.32% missed trips, but we are sort of still hanging on by a thread. The contractor, Transdev, has been doing a lot of non-financial incentives. Recruiting has been difficult. One of the things that they did in January, they reached an agreement with an outside firm. They don't have spare bodies at any property in the country. When I worked there, they could call San Diego and ship some people over in a crisis. But this is an industry-wide challenge across the country, so they don't have internal resources. So they arranged a contract with a third-party provider to send in operators at their cost to cover our service. The contractor agreed to provide 5 and has produced 1. Now that 1 is working 40 to 60 hours a week and probably keeping that January number low for us, which is good. But that's sort of the thin edge that we're working on for our margin. We do currently have a proposal pending and a meeting to be scheduled next week with the managers to review the draft of that before you and Mayor Hennett are involved in kind of vetting that process out and see what they have for us. Just to put simply, I've got all the detailed data, but our paratransit operators who run our ADA paratransit service, the smaller vehicle service, and our bus operators basically are $5 to $8 an hour starting pay behind Cabarrus County Transportation and CATS. That's the short version of that. So we'll have more detail as we see their proposal and get into that in the next 2 to 4 weeks probably.
It's not a simple solution, is it?
Probably not, but we will see, still sort of waiting to see what that germinates out to. The other thing, certainly, I'm sure probably everybody's heard about Gastonia's move to microtransit and changing their service over. That was a plan to discuss that at the December Transit Commission meeting, but we sort of ran out of time. So we'll be talking through their project, what we've learned from that, sort of a general education piece along with what we are currently working on, particularly with the part of the Orange Route that's been affected by the Lincoln Street Bridge. So that'll kind of be our showcase piece for the end of the month that we'll be talking about at that point.
Very good. Thank you.
Question?
Water Sewer Authority of Cabarrus County.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, Ms. Deason. Three really quick updates. First off, WASAC did have a successful bond sale yesterday, issuing revenue bonds for the first time in a long time for the Phase 4 expansion, which takes us from the 30 million to the 34. Those were 25-year terms with an interest rate of 3.69% and netted proceeds almost $94 million. So as we venture down our revenue bond issuance road here soon, it's great to see that it was a very active market for them yesterday. Secondly, we did have the first two sessions with WASAC on the finalization of the master plan. The first one was a couple weeks ago on the final sewer and water projections for our growth. And then just yesterday, we had our CIP and capacity tracking dashboard and mapping tools were demonstrated for us. We had water resources staff, planning, as well as engineering and representation from all the municipalities, as well as the county and Charlotte Water were there. I think we all came out of that really, really impressed with the tools that have been developed to make sure we have the data, we have a good way to use the data moving forward. We know how important it is to know where we are at every given second. So we're excited about that. Then lastly, we have not received Distribution 10 yet. There is one small item that is holding up Distribution 10. We will discuss that once that allocation is issued. You will understand once you know about it. We remain confident, and I have been reassured that it will be to us before your second work session of this month. So we were hoping to have it by now, but we do believe it will be very soon.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We Build Concord. Dr. Graham.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, and Ms. Deason. We have reported last month that we were at 81 units that either were complete, under construction, or under development. That has creeped up to 82 this month. One of the things, though, that I really want to note to you all is that there are going to be, as of next week, 6 townhomes that will be complete and ready for home ownership. A few of those, we already have some people in the pipeline, but because those are mixed income developments, we will be releasing some of those to the public as well. So I want to make some of you aware of that, because referrals for those would be appreciated so that we can actually vet them and have them go through our process. Last thing I will say too is that we would still like many of you, if you can, to take a tour of some of our developments. Many of them now being complete also allow you to walk inside, so you get a true feel. I've just done 2 tours today, and it makes a big difference. There are 2 versions. There's the hour tour, where we simply whisk you around very quickly, maybe let you step in 1 or 2. And then there is sort of the 75-minute, which also allows you to spend a little bit more time, and there's coffee or ice cream with that. So, your choice. But with that, are there any questions that you have?
Questions?
Yes. They are Powder and Chestnut. So there are 4 on Powder and 2 on Chestnut.
All right.
Very nice looking.
If you don't have time for the tour, just to look at those, to drive down Powder, take a left on Howerton. It's a dead end, so you gotta maneuver and look at the house there, and then back out, and there's another single-family house just below on Powder. So there's a lot of love that We Build has given that area of Concord, and it's an area that deserved that love. So it's really nice to see the impact that these are going to have, not just on the homeowners, but on the community in our city. So very,
Good point.
very proud.
Yeah, they are very impressive. Thank you for what you're doing.
One other question, Dr. Graham.
Yes.
Are you still working with Prosperity or Limited? Are they still your main, I guess?
They are. They're the only HUD certified counseling agency in Cabarrus. So yes, we still deal with them. We are actually, in our strategic plan, actually Prosperity Unlimited will be part of that strategic plan. So we're not only doing it for the agency, but for that agency as well, since they're so closely aligned. What I will say is that what we want to do is increase capacity, but what's more important that I do want to give them kudos for is that they have provided on average, outside of what we provide as down payment assistance, they've been able to gather per client close to $105,000 on average. So that's actually been very helpful in getting costs down for residents, particularly as you have higher interest rates, and of course, you know, with the reevaluations of property, that's going to become more important.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Okay,
All right,
thank you very much. All right, Public Art Commission. Welcome. How are you tonight?
I'm doing fine, thanks. If I make it for the next 3 minutes, I'll be, I'll be even better. Good evening, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kozinski, thank you, Ms. Deason. I'm Doyle Bussey. I'm the chair of the Public Art Commission, and I wanted to thank you for giving me a chance to give you an update today on what we've been doing. See if I can figure this thing out. I had a couple slides, but so we continue to have productive monthly meetings with lively discussions on how to move forward. Based on these discussions, our recommendations for the near term have moved towards simultaneously, pursuing projects and towards establishing procedures and policies to guide our commission for future projects. So with that, I'd like to give you a quick preview of our proposed recommendations for the next year, if I can figure out how this thing works. Boop. Okay. Our first proposed project will be to establish a rotating temporary art program on the new downtown streetscape. Sites have been located for 4 sculptures and a mural, with the installations targeted for the fall of '24, and a close that would be synchronized with finishing the construction of the streetscape. And to facilitate this project, because the current fiscal year is rapidly closing, we'll propose to use a curator to guide us through the first year. One of the benefits that this will have is the curator can help train the commission on how to run future similar projects on our own. For fiscal year 2025, our annual work plan will have recommendations that have pivoted slightly from focusing solely on projects, but also using facilitators to help establish procedures and policies. Currently, there's no established policies or procedures, so the commission is proposing to seek facilitators to assist us in document development, to ensure a well-run public art program in the future, and to help train commissioners by guiding us through initial projects so we can gain the expertise needed to successfully run future projects. Along with that, we would like to continue the Downtown Streetscape Art Program as an ongoing annual project. And then we've also targeted 3 projects that would be high on our priority list, of one of them being the transit station windows replacement. We have a goal to have at least 1 mural somewhere on city property. Bless you.
Thank you.
And to create a mural assistance grants program. So to recap, We would like to move ahead with a few projects and work towards, oh, sorry, there we go. Work towards establishing a strong process to efficiently handle future projects. And all the projects that I've talked about will be included in the annual work plan, which we are planning to have to you for review and approval by next month's meeting. Does anybody have any questions?
All right, thank you. Any questions? Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Concord United Committee. Welcome, Jermaine.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, and Ms. Deason. Quick updates, there is one seat opening, and I sent over the co-chair's recommendation for that to be filled, so hoping to be back fully staffed in our committee there. And then wanted to share one of the first of the year 3 priorities, which is working with the Logan community to address access or lack thereof to healthy foods. So they've been invited to present in February with the goal of having planning come in March. Those are my only updates.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, thank you very much. Council have anything else they want to discuss tonight? Not on the agenda?
I do have a question. Has Concord United received the report that we got from staff to prepare for our small group meeting in March? So they have it. The co-chair, thank you, Jermaine.
Okay, thank you. Anything else from council? Okay, remember, on the 16th, we have our session going at 7:30 in the morning. We'll start, we'll finish by whenever, 7:30 for breakfast. Gotta have a little snack before you go, and the kids going strong, so. With that said, is there a motion to adjourn? Second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? All right. Thanks, everyone. Oh, I do have one other thing, not on the agenda, but whoever did this, thank you for reminding us of Valentine's coming. Thank you.